Welcome to the Videography University podcast. This is the podcast to listen to if you have ambitions of turning your videography business into a six-figure income and a full-time career. My name's Grant Burks. I'm the host of this podcast. I also run my own videography business full-time based in Columbus, Ohio, and I wrote the book Film to Freedom, where I teach all the tips, strategies, and tactics that you need to turn your videography business into a six-figure income and a full-time career. And for listening to this podcast, you can get a free copy of my book in the description below. So today we're going to be talking about 5 pieces of software that I recommend that I personally use that might help you run your videography business a little bit smoother, a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more effectively. Now, these pieces of software are not going to be production or editing pieces of software. If you guys would be interested in knowing what software I use for production and editing, then let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to do a future episode on that topic. But this episode today is going to be focused just on 5 pieces of software that I use to run more of the business side of my video production company. So the first piece of software that really it had a huge impact on me and my business, and I discovered it. I was fortunate to discover it pretty early on in my business. You might laugh when you hear it, but it was QuickBooks. For those that aren't familiar, QuickBooks is a bookkeeping software that helps you with the accounting and tax side of running your own business. It's not specific to videographers. It's probably one of the most well-known bookkeeping softwares used amongst many different industries today, but it is a fantastic piece of software. So when I was getting started in really taking videography seriously, I decided to set up an LLC and set up a business checking account for myself, get a business credit card as well. And along with that, I was looking for bookkeeping software. The first year that I did my own taxes, I did it through TurboTax, and I didn't have any bookkeeping software. It was an absolute nightmare trying to figure out expenses, what was profit, what was loss, what expenses were going toward which different category, mileage, all these different things. It was an absolute nightmare. And then I came across this beautiful piece of software called QuickBooks Self-employed, and it made my life 100 times easier. All I had to do was connect it to my business checking account and my business credit card, and then all of the payments, all the expenses were automatically linked within the system. I just had to select, was it a business expense, a personal expense? But because I had a business card, I only put business expenses on there. So all I had to do was just swipe, and it was automatically categorizing everything as business expenses for me that were supposed to be business expenses. So that was incredible. Invoicing, additionally, was amazing. You're able to invoice electronically through QuickBooks Self-employed, and there's a bunch of different types of the QuickBooks plans that you can get. I personally am now in the QuickBooks Online version. I had to make this shift because of an integration that I had with another piece of my software. If I could do it again, I probably wouldn't even shift over to this version yet. I highly, highly recommend the QuickBooks Self-employed version. I think it's their most inexpensive plan, and it has all the features that you need when you first get started. Once you start to upgrade to those higher level versions, things get really complicated. I took 2 accounting courses in college. I was a business major. I still have no clue what half the stuff in the QuickBooks Online platform is, and it just made things more confusing. So go with the QuickBooks Self-employed plan if that seems like it fits your needs. But with the QuickBooks Self-employed plan, you get invoicing, you get tracking of your expenses, and then you also get mileage tracking too. You can automatically track your mileage with that piece of software. You just connect it to your phone. You have your phone with you. It tracks when you're going from place to place, and then you can just swipe if it's business or personal use. I typically at the end of each month will just go through the month and just swipe through whether it's business or personal. You can do it every time. It'll send you a notification once you get out of the car. It tracks that you're moving from one spot to another, and you can just swipe swipe as business or personal use for your vehicle, but I just do it at the end of the month each month. Or if I'm bad, I wait a couple months and then do it. And then it's kind of difficult to go through everything, but they make it as easy as possible. My first year, I tried to just create an Excel spreadsheet, and I was like, forget this. There's no way that I'm going to be able to track all this stuff. It's a waste of my time. So I tracked like my 5 longest trips of the year. Everything else I didn't even track, so I didn't even write it off. Great feature of QuickBooks Self-employed, that mileage tracking. So that is a piece of software, my first one that I highly recommend checking out. QuickBooks Self-employed. Second, Canva, and specifically the Canva Pro option, but the free option is fantastic too. You can definitely get away with utilizing the free option for everything that you need. I utilize Canva for creating presentations for when I'm pitching to clients. If I have a project that I'm giving a quote on and I want to put together a nice presentation for them, I'll utilize Canva for it. It's a great piece of software that you can use. It's kind of like PowerPoint, except to a higher degree or greater level. It has the all the features that PowerPoint has, and you can create slideshows and everything, but it's a lot more user-friendly, a lot more, the drag and drop features are great. And then it's also, it's an online-based piece of software, so you can edit it from different laptops. You don't have to have, like a PowerPoint account on every single. For PowerPoint, you have to have an account on each device, but for Canva, you can just log on to your web browser and log into your account from whatever device. You can edit it from your phone, which is great. But then it also it makes things easier design-wise too with the drag and drop features, and they have more templates on there too, which looks really nice. I'll also use Canva for invoicing. If I have a client who just wants a nice PDF invoice, I'll just draft one up on Canva real quick for them and send it over to them. So Canva Pro, my second piece of software that I recommend checking out. But once again, you can get away with the free version. The paid version just has a couple nice features, like you can export things as PNGs with transparent backgrounds, which is nice. And then you get a couple more of the graphic elements that you can utilize within the Pro version. I used the free version for 2 years and it perfectly fitted my needs. Okay, that takes us to our third piece of software that I recommend checking out if you run a videography business full-time. This is Calendly. Calendly is a great tool for booking meetings with clients. You've probably been in the nightmare situation before where you're emailing back and forth. Hey, I'd love to get on a call with you. Would this time work? Oh, no, that time doesn't work, but how about these times? Oh, those times don't work. Well, how about this time? And it's just a nightmare back and forth, emailing, trying to figure out a time, trying to lock down a time that works for both of you. Well, Calendly takes all this out of the equation. It removes the back and forth. You set up a Calendly account, and then you can have it synced to your calendar, so it shows all of the times that you're available. And you can set buffers depending on the type of meeting that you have. Say, I have ones for in-person meetings, and then I have ones for virtual meetings as well. Obviously, in-person meetings, you might need more time to get there based on getting ready, leaving, drive time, whatnot. As opposed to virtual meetings, you just need to hop on your computer, and then you can set different restrictions based on the length of each time. For one, say it's a 30-minute free consultation call. You can have that as one type of meeting. Say you also have an hour-long presentation, because you typically use an hour or so to present to your potential prospects. You can set that as a type of meeting as well. So depending on whatever type of meeting it is, you can have a unique link for it. You can shoot that out to a client, and they can easily, conveniently select whatever time works best for them. And then it will also send them all of the meeting details, whether that be a Zoom link or details on location, so on and so forth. Now, don't fall into the trap of using Calendly for everything. There are times when it is better to not send a Calendly link and instead just send sometimes that work for you. We can talk about that more in another episode, but typically when I'm prospecting, I like to just send over times that work for me, because it takes some of the hassle from them of having to check their calendar and then look at your Calendly link and see what works best for them and you. But Calendly, great piece of software that I highly recommend. And I have a little bonus tip at the end of this video as well for how you can get Calendly for free. All right, our fourth piece of software is the Google Suite. You might already be using this, very common amongst business owners, just common amongst people in general using the Google Suite. But the Google Suite has so many different pieces of software within it that are fantastic for helping you to operate a business. Obviously, Gmail. We have a Google Workspace account that uses Gmail for all of our email communication. It's a fantastic email tool, and I highly recommend utilizing Gmail. Google Docs, great piece of software for just drafting different documents, whether that be taking notes or maybe you're writing up some sort of proposal or something. Google Docs is a great tool. I love the fact that you can, once again, similar to Canva, you can edit a Google Doc from a desktop, and then you can edit it from your phone. You can edit it from multiple devices. You can access it. You just need an internet connection to do so. And then they have an offline mode as well. So Google Docs is great. I use it mostly for taking notes during meetings. If I'm having a meeting with a potential client, I'll take down notes on what they're looking for with the video project. That we can easily keep everything organized and refer back to it from my phone if ever necessary. And then pre-shoot planning, I like to use Google Docs as well. So I'll get down timelines of all of our planning, put together a shot list for it, all within Google Docs. It's really handy. And then you have Google Sheets as well, which is great for tracking projects. We do a lot of our tracking for our real estate, videography, photography side of the business through Google Sheets. So another great tool, all within the Google Suite. And you can access all of those tools for free as well. And then they have paid versions that give you a few upgrades too. Okay, so that takes us to our fifth and final piece of software that I recommend looking into for running your videography business. And this is going to be HoneyBook. HoneyBook is a great tool for really just managing any sort of business. I think it was originally created for wedding photographers, videographers, but it became more of like a CRM for just business owners in general. HoneyBook, three things that I really love about HoneyBook, three features. It's great for sending contracts. So you can use it to send out contracts to clients and they can electronically sign those, which is super handy for larger projects. Sending recurring invoices, fantastic for that. As of now, I don't believe QuickBooks Self-employed has a recurring invoice feature within it, but HoneyBook does. So if you have somebody that's on retainer, you're doing monthly work for them, HoneyBook is a great tool for being able to send them those invoices on a recurring basis, not having to go back in whatever your invoicing software is right now and send one each month. You can just set it up so it'll send it every month, month after month. And also streamlining communication with clients. You can keep all of your emails, all your communication back and forth within the CRM so that you don't have to be worrying about lost emails or anything like that. So it is very handy for that as well. Now, I mentioned a bonus tip on how you can get Calendly for free. HoneyBook actually has a Calendly integration within it. So if you sign up for HoneyBook, then you get Calendly for free just through having a HoneyBook subscription. It's just integrated within the platform. So I actually don't even have a separate Calendly account. I canceled my Calendly account once I got HoneyBook, and now I utilize that feature within HoneyBook to book meetings with clients whenever I want them to just automatically book them on my calendar. So great way that you can save some costs there and get two of these pieces of software for the cost of one. So those are my 5 pieces of software that I recommend: QuickBooks Self-employed, Canva Pro, Calendly, Google Suite, and HoneyBook. Check those out. See if there's something that you think could benefit your business. Don't fall into the trap of signing up for a million different pieces of software that have you on recurring payments. It's easy to fall into that trap. I keep a Google Sheet of all of our recurring payments. That way I know how much we're spending each month. And before I sign up for another one, I check to see, okay, is there anything that we really don't need any longer and we can unsubscribe from? Because those expenses can add up quickly. Now, if you want a free copy of my book, Film to Freedom, where I teach all the tools, strategies, and tactics to turn your videography business into a full-time income or into a 6-figure income and full-time career, then click the link in the description below to get a free copy just for listening to this podcast. With that, I will see you in the next one, and good luck with any projects you got coming up.